And good day. Thank you for joining us here at Big Mike's Coffee Shop here in Newland on Pinola Street. Beautiful downtown Newland. A little bit yucky with the day that it's on this Thursday morning, but still we're just grateful to have the opportunity to come inside here to Big Mike's to enjoy their fine festive menu, their winter items, their holiday themed items on their menu, as well as their food availability options, different things here, bagels and other items as well here at Big Mike's. We always appreciate Mike and Jackie Nelson and their sponsorship of our football and our basketball location here. Appreciate Kenny Johnson and Johnson Entertainment Group. How'd you like those red lights and all that for the home game of Madison the other night?
That was awesome. That was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a great atmosphere. It's really great for the kids. And it's fantastic for the players to be able to be experiencing that. So if you didn't get a chance to see the last home game to do that, tonight, Avery plays, as we're recording on this Thursday, it's a Thursday night game against Watauga. So a big border rivalry there. And then we welcome Enka on Friday night for non-conference action at Viking Gym. Here with Avery Vikings head boys varsity basketball coach John Gage. And Coach, I know the last two matchups, you've opened conference play.
Yes,
and it's always a different animal when you're getting into conference play versus the out-of-conference foes you might be tangling with. Well, first talk about the game with Madison. I know that was one that was kind of just a nip-and-tuck, close game. It started out like it was going to be kind of a fast-paced shootout type matchup, but then it slowed considerably.
Yeah.
And I hope I didn't jinx you when I asked you that question that night. Is it better to slow a team down or speed a team up?
Right.
Because it felt like your team got a little bit slowed down, so to speak.
Yeah.
Can you speak a little bit just about that matchup first as we look back at that game? It was a 55-49 game.
Yep. Madison
away with the win in that one there at Avery.
And I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that Madison did a very good job of slowing us down, and they had us play at the pace they wanted us to play at. They wanted to make it a possession game and sort of eliminate the transition element of it. And so credit to them for that. I thought they were very successful in that regard. I don't think we necessarily did a good job of responding consistently in that game. I think that something we talk about all the time is controlling the things that we can control. And
right.
The things that we can control, doing the little things consistently, things like 50-50 balls, blocking out, things that are not the sexy like thing.
Yeah,
talk
right.
about,
the little things. Yes.
Sure, but those are things that absolutely add up. And I think that, I'm not ever going to be one to make excuses. Oak Markland's a really good basketball player. Not having him available is detrimental to our team's success. So not having him hurt, but again, no excuses. Other guys have to step up, and I don't think that as a team we stepped up and filled that void, and his impact was greatly felt. I don't think we defended particularly well. It was a low-scoring game, but even a low-scoring game, I don't feel like we executed defensively the way we would have liked to. I mean, we recognized going in the scouting report, Gavin Galt was going to be their guy, and he was going to do their scoring. And you give up 28 points to a guy that is their primary scorer, didn't necessarily do your job. So I was disappointed with our defensive effort, just sort of our response in general. Madison's a good basketball team, so I'll give them credit in that regard. But I did not like the intensity that we came out with and just the overall execution defensively.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Galt at 28. I mean, that was half their offense.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you look at the rest of the team, and defensively, you only gave up 27 to the rest of the team. Right. But again, his offense was strong. I noticed that you tried to use different guys on him. You did rotate, Nick on him. You had Hank on him for a while. You had Jackson on him for a while. No. Just giving him different looks and trying to find some kind of answer there.
Right.
I mean, with a player like that, it's how difficult is it to kind of maybe not necessarily shut them down, but at least try to contain those type of players?
Sure. Well, you kind of want to go into it with the philosophy that you're going to make somebody else beat you, that you want to sort of, execute your energy on him. Obviously, you can't fall asleep if you're in help or if you're off the ball, but you want to be able to guard, especially him who is such a ball-dominant guy. And something they're doing different this year is they're letting him initiate the offense. He played mostly off the ball last year, and so he's really bringing the ball up the court. They may swing it once or twice, and then he's looking to create a shot for himself. So it's really important that all aspects of the defense are engaged. I think the real thing we struggled with is I don't think on ball we necessarily did a great job, but we were really poor off ball. I thought our help defense was almost non-existent. Something we talked about a lot in film this week was that we have to improve on building a wall on the ball side and sending the ball away from the basket if it comes there. And we were not engaged on that end. We were really deep on the weak side, guarding guys on the weak side that are not necessarily bad basketball players, but are not so much a threat that we need to help that far off. So just being better in help defense off ball, that gives us the confidence to be able to guard the ball more aggressively and on ball because we know we have help behind us. And so I think both aspects of that, the on ball and the off ball, were just not what they need to be. And that you run to a good basketball player like Galt, he's going to have a big night when that's the case.
Fast forward to Tuesday night, the game down at Owen. I know first road conference game of the season for you, taking on Owen. I know his final score of that was a 60-48 defeat, but that was a game where the game was close throughout until really late in the contest when Owen was able to put a few points together. Sure. Can you just speak just kind of your overall thoughts about, was there an improvement from the defensive end you felt like, just kind of how the challenges that they posed to you versus what you saw the previous game with Madison?
Sure, and it goes back to what we talked about the last time we talked. There's really by and large, not a lot of off nights in this conference. It's a very competitive team, conference basketball-wise. And Owen's got a good team. I know they're one of the top teams in the conference this year. I believe they've lost one game so far this year, to my knowledge. Asante Martin returning player of the year in the conference. So they're a solid squad. But like you said, it was really a back-and-forth game. And honestly, we gave up more points, but defensively, I thought we executed much better. We were really poor in the first quarter in defending, particularly Asante Martin, who scored most of his points in the first quarter. And I thought we did a great job of neutralizing him the rest of the game. Offensively, our execution I was not pleased with. We took a lot of ill-advised shots, I would say, where we didn't have enough ball rotation and we kind of settled. And we did a really poor job crashing the offensive glass, which is something that's very much part of our identity, is we want to send four guys to the offensive glass and create second chances. Didn't do a good job of that against a team that I thought we had an opportunity to do some of that against. So I thought we some of our role players that are usually giving us stronger performances, I didn't think necessarily played the way they have been playing. And honestly, some of our guys that are our better guys did not necessarily perform to their capability either. So that all kind of adds up. We did have some strong performances, but overall I thought our defense was fine. I just put the ball in the basket at a certain point in time. And I think we did that consistently.
Right. So you look now ahead, taking those two conference games, you kind of put a pause button on the conference for a little bit now, and you're back in non-conference now. Out of there, you've got Watauga coming to town. You have Enka coming to town back-to-back nights. And the one time you only get to play Watauga once this season. Normally, you'll have a home and home, but you didn't last season, and this season you have them here. Can you speak a little bit about that matchup coming up as we're recording? It'll be tonight in Viking Gym at the Octagon. A little bit about what you're expecting to see from Watauga and just what you hope your guys can accomplish in bouncing back.
I think that it's a really good opportunity for us to show how tough we are and how much we want to compete. I think Watauga is a very strong basketball team. They do a lot of things exceptionally well. They get out and run. They hit 17 threes against Ashe County last night, so they're a very strong shooting team. They're very deep. And, it'll be a good challenge for us. We've gotten some experience playing them, like you said, last season, playing them over the summer. And I think it's a challenge that our guys are excited for. Our guys are eager to prove themselves. You have two disappointing outings where we didn't play to our capability. We still believe that we are a good basketball team that has as much right as anybody to a conference championship if we show up and play. So we're very eager to show what we're capable of against a team that is several classifications higher than us. They had a really strong season last year and is going to be a challenge. So they present a very decisive challenge where you have to run back on defense and get the ball stopped, and you have to get matched up on shooters. You have to execute your stuff offensively and be sharp. I think the big thing for us is we got to control what we can control. We've got to treat the 50-50 balls as a do or die type situation. We have to box out consistently. We have to do those little things that allow us to execute the big things. But if it doesn't start with that, it doesn't matter who we're playing against, it's not going to matter. But great opportunity for us to be challenged, for us to respond to that challenge. And we're going to learn a lot about our guys and how well we bounce back in a game like tonight.
With a game with Watauga, oftentimes it's about the athletes. I mean, they have a very athletic team. They always have from years past. You have a team of athletes as well, and you have, again, team of players that you have some size as well with that.
Yes, sir.
How much do you feel like you can exploit and take advantage of the size that you have, especially with your versatility with your guards and your forwards to maybe cause some mismatches on their end?
And I think it is. I think that is an advantage that we can utilize, is that we do have big guys that can score in the paint, guys that are efficient and we're able to throw the ball into them. We also, like you said, have bigger guards that do allow us, if we want to go small and play some 4-guard lineups where our guards are the size of forwards, so that we can get out and run if we want to sort of play a faster paced game. But we also have the flexibility to be able to play 2 true post guys along with 2 big guards and then a point guard and utilize different matchup situations. So that versatility is something that we want to try to take advantage of, because Watauga does have some good size. They're equitable to us in size, I would say, by and large. So I would say the biggest advantage is we're able to match up with them size-wise and not really have a mismatch in terms of just being completely dominated in terms of size matchup issues. So I think that being able to utilize different sets and sort of keep the other team off balance by being able to go big at times and go small at times and sort of utilize all the different skill sets we have is something that will allow us to be able to be competitive.
Looking past Watauga to the next game on Friday, you have back-to-back nights.
Yep.
You have Enka coming to Viking Gym on Friday night for your silent night game, which we've talked a little bit about that in the past. It's just I know it's been a way to give the kids a chance, opportunity that the students, they dress up, they make a big to-do of it. You get to dress up in your whatever Christmas outfits and costumes, and you have the 10th point and everything goes crazy and haywire. Everybody's silent during the first part of the game, and usually I know they've had the teddy bear tosses and collecting items. And it's just a really frenetic kind of night.
It is, yes.
So having Enka coming to town in the midst of all that, with it being so different, how are you getting your guys ready, or how will you for that matchup coming up with Enka?
Well, it's apropos that Enka is the one to play in a frenetic night like that, because if you watch Enka, they're a very frenetic style of play that they have. They press very often, both in the half court and the full court. They're looking to jump you, try to bait you into turnovers or making poor decisions with the basketball. And then, they somehow, I believe they shoot even more threes than Watauga does, which is hard to accomplish. So, they are very much, and they crash 4, sometimes 5 guys to the offensive glass. So it's a very up and down style of play, which is fine with us because that's really how we want to play. Yeah. But it's a night, especially on we've gone over some stuff. Having to prepare for really 3 teams and 2 practices is a challenge in and of itself. But we've looked at some of the stuff they do as far as their defensive schemes, and it's going to be a good challenge for us. And amidst a night where there's a lot of distractions already going on, it'll be an interesting evening. But they're a very well coached team that plays their style and believes in their style. And, our boys are excited for that matchup. It should be a fun night, and I think it should be an exciting game.
So we look forward to that game on Friday night, of course, again, tonight being Watauga coming up. I know for the season, is it 5-3 on the season?
5-3,
is that right?
yes,
I know you hate to lose the first 2 conference games. I understand that.
Yeah,
but overall, do you feel like those experiences will really help you guys with your rematches with them? But against your other teams coming up, the Heritage is when you go back in the conference play on the 6th when you're facing Mountain Heritage. And, of course, you still got Mitchell on the schedule, Polk on the schedule, Hendersonville on the schedule.
Yep.
How do you feel like your guys are right now, just kind of what the state of mind and state of, physicalness, if that's a word, that you feel like your Vikings are at right now?
It's interesting. I think when you have pockets like this in a season, I think that having the layoff between the Ashe County game, where I really thought we were playing some of our best basketball, having from that Tuesday to the following Friday off, was a little deterrent to our momentum that we were building, and that was a difficult challenge for us. And I think when you run into pockets like this, it's sort of inevitable for you to kind of take a long look in the mirror and evaluate everything that you're doing and make sure that you're getting the most out of what's in front of you. I think as both coaches and players, that's a very natural reaction. I think when you see that losing bothers your players, then you can build off of that. And you know that you have somewhere to go. When you lose to teams that, in my personal opinion, you should not be losing to, you've got to sort of look and see, okay, what can we do better, or what can we shift to get the most out of this group? And so what I'm hoping to see as we move forward into conference, first of all, I expect to see 2 very competitive games these next 2 nights. And, obviously we're trying to win. But moving forward in the conference, I think that you learn a lot about your response. So we recognize that the things that lost us the game are not yeah, we missed shots, yes, and that's, I mean, we've got to improve in the free throw area particularly.
Right.
9 missed free throws last night, 12 the following night, 21 missed free throws in 2 games. Yeah, you'll lose some games when that's the case. But beyond that, the bigger thing that concerns me is, are we blocking out consistently? Are we owning our matchup defensively and executing? Are we winning the energy battle? Because if we're not doing those things, the shots, they matter, but they don't matter as much as controlling those things that you can control. So us addressing that and really taking a fine look at whether we're handling our business when we walk through the door, I think that's the biggest thing moving forward is that, because the talent is there and there's no question about that. It's going to have to be the want to and whether we are passionate about doing the little things that lead to winning. And that's what I believe that this team has learned in those past 2 games, is that just walking in and going 5-on-5 and trying to play is not sufficient. You've got to put in the work and you've got to have the right mindset and mentality to be able to get those results.
Natural ability takes you just so far.
Absolutely, 100%.
And for some teams, natural ability takes them a very long way, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But you still have to prepare. You still have to be mentally and physically together, I guess,
Right.
with every matchup you come to. Yeah. I want to talk just a little bit about the JV team.
Yeah.
JV team with a big win on Tuesday night with Owen. They lead the field Madison as well. They've started off 2-0 in conference.
Yes.
The team's looked really strong under Coach Farmer. Can you speak a little bit just about, talk about that squad, a little bit about how they're coming along and how pleased you are with seeing what the future holds here, so as far as your program?
Yeah, I'm very excited and pleased with what I've seen so far from just that group and the work ethic that they have, the energy they play with on the floor. They're just a very hard-nosed, tough group. They're unselfish. You know, they're not the biggest group in the world. They're not tiny, but they just there's a lot. Actually, they're all give or take kind of around the same size, which allows us to do a lot of switching, a lot of really aggressive press defense, and really play an up and down style of basketball. I love how they get after it on the defensive end of the court, how unselfish they are. They really just are a group that are extremely deep, and there's a lot of versatility in their skill sets. And hard not to be pleased and impressed with the results so far. I think that they've really gotten after it, and I really think their best basketball is still ahead of them. There's been a lot of teaching moments in these early going where teaching them sort of like we've talked about in the past, that sort of foot on their neck mentality, not taking your foot off the gas, staying on teams, and not getting tired of doing the things that got you the lead in the first place. And that's the biggest thing I'm wanting this group to learn, is that they're playing really good basketball. I'd like to see it for 4 quarters consistently. But young guys, that's a big learning curve for them. But love the energy that they're showing, and it's hard to argue with the results so far. I'm very pleased with that group.
Of course, Coach, again, coming up, I had 2 games this week, Thursday and Friday here, and then a little bit of a break. I know you don't have a Christmas tournament this season. I know I spoke with Coach Phillips about that as well earlier. Without a Christmas tournament, preparation is a little bit different because, again, you deal with another long break before you come back to conference with Heritage on the 6th.
Sure.
Did the break with the weather last couple of weeks, has that kind of entered into your mindset a little bit about preparation now for getting ready for this next break you have that's built in that's coming up?
I think it has. It's shown, there's definitely the potential for rust when you have those times off. Mm-hmm. I think the one advantage that we do have in relation to the girls in that regard is, so we're actually making up our game with Smoky Mountain on December 30th. So we do have that opportunity to get back in the gym and prepare for that game prior to that, and have a good game against a very strong team that will be a good little warm-up for us before we get into those challenging conference games that are coming up after break. So we'll have that'll be very big for us. Smoky Mountains, they're one of the better teams we've played to this point. I believe they've also only lost 2 games. 1 game. Not a lot of bad teams on our schedule. So, that'll be a good one for us. But I think that is a really good thing. I was okay with the decision for us not to play a Christmas tournament. Coach Phillips and I talked about that, and I think that our kids could use a break in that time to just sort of, spend time with family, really sort of decompress and heal up so that they're ready to go and they're fresh for conference. But I'm glad that we get that Smoky Mountain game in beforehand as a good little tune-up for us before we get into the conference play.
How are your team health-wise? Though you didn't have, of course, Oak for the game with Madison. How are you guys physically right now? Yeah,
that's really been the only health-related issue we've dealt with is Oak, and he's not 100% yet. I'm sure he was frustrated at the Owen game the other night because he was playing not fully 100% and really couldn't do all the things that he normally does. And that he's gradually getting better. Right. I'd put him at probably maybe like 85-90% for tonight. So having an 85 to 90% Oak is dang sure better than having a 0% Oak.
Yeah, beats having 0, right?
Yeah, for sure. So we're glad to have him back, and he's recovering, getting better, getting his energy back. Overall, outside of that, we're fine and we're ready to go.
All right, good deal. Well, Coach, I always appreciate the time talking to you, and appreciate the opportunity that afforded to us by Big Mike's Coffee Shop here, located here in downtown Newland, here on Pinola Street. Appreciate the winter menu. I know you've had your cups already getting that
right
ready
over there.
to go.
Can't wait to drink it. Absolutely.
You know, the hot items, cold items available, food items available now as well. Here at Big Mike's, Mike and Jackie Nelson, we appreciate their support of Viking athletics, and also Kenny Johnson Entertainment Group. I probably mispronounced what it actually the official name is, but that's the way I remember it at least. But Johnson Entertainment, of course, if you come to the pregame, come to the Avery home basketball games, the pregame red lights and just the pregame pump and circumstance is all about Kenny putting that together. And I appreciate that, and I know that the fans, it's just a great atmosphere to be part of. We thank Kenny for his sponsorship and his partnership with pulling these coaches shows together, as well as our post-game reports from our home games and other games we might be at over the course of the season, and just these opportunities to catch up with the programs. So thank you again, Kenny, as well. And thank you for watching. Wish you the very best. And, Coach, we wish you a very Merry Christmas if we don't catch up with you before the next matchup. And just wish you all the best here tonight against Watauga and against Enka.
I appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you as well. Thank you for this. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much for watching, and go Vikings.